Uh, First, I want to say a little bit about this meditation technique. The whole purpose of doing meditation is to develop mindfulness and concentration. That's the whole purpose of it, to develop the mind. So when we have this mindfulness and concentration, we have this develop mindfulness in our daily life, so we can see what's arising in our mind. With this mindfulness, we are not caught into thoughts so easily, or with mindfulness, we are not caught into our emotions, We don't become, we don't become angry, and so on, or become jealous. Because of our mindfulness, we can see this. You have a greater opportunity to see these emotions arising in us. We also have this opportunity to see our intentions, right? So we have a way of halting, of stopping uh, us behaving in a harmful way to others. So that's the whole purpose of it. So we have to develop this concentration and mindfulness through meditation. And the byproduct of it is a peacefulness, right? Calmness, joy, happiness within the meditation in itself, right? And with this mindfulness in itself, you can have this peace, with this concentration, you can have this calmness. And with mindfulness and concentration strong, we can apply our mind towards what we want to do and staying with that. We don't let our mind run astray with fantasizing or indulging in our memories. Right? We have a better ability in controlling our mind, not really controlling our mind, have a better ability in looking after our mind. So in that way, we do not let our mind cause us a lot of harm and suffering. So that's the whole purpose, right? It's not going to the heavenly realm to see what's going on or to develop psychic powers. It is not about that, right? Okay, so the first thing I want to say about this method is that I have shortened this method so that you can take it away and develop it. Before that, this method of practice involved 16 weeks, the latest, So I'm going to shorten it and teach you the essence of the practice, right? And then you can take it away, practice it, monitor it yourself, and then carry on from one stage to another, right? So there is the beginner stage, and then there's the intermediate stage, and there is the advanced stage. So I'm going to take you through all these stages, right? Just to let you know what the technique is. Right, that's the first thing. So once you know the technique, then I can tell you when you have developed a particular state, you can move on to the next stage. Usually, then and from the intermediate stage, then when you practice up to a particular level, you can move on to the advanced stage. When you reach the advanced stage, it will take some time, a very long time, before you go to the most advanced stages. So I will be talking about the most advanced stages. So what I'm going to do is to start with meditation in itself. I'm going to explain about meditation. This is the way how I practice. This is how it brings value to my life. The first thing is that we have a sitting practice, which you all know, right? And there is something called the walking meditation. And the third, there is something called the working meditation. I'm going to explain the walking meditation and the sitting meditation to you. It is something pretty ordinary. The only difference is that when you do this thing, you put your mind in a particular state, which is state of focusing on only one thing. So I'll start with the walking meditation. In the walking meditation, you walk up and down, the distance you walk is maybe about 12 or more paces because you're going to turn round as you walk along the path. You're going to turn round and then walk back again. So in walking meditation, it is something very simple. When you walk, you start with your left foot or right foot, then you say left, right, left, right. It's just like marching, but not as vigorous as marching. So the whole idea is to calm your mind down to only one thing, paying attention to your walking. The pace you're walking is an ordinary pace, which is a normal pace. So the pace would be something like left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. That's all you do. When you put your left foot forward, you say left. When you put your right foot forward and down, you say right. That's all. And then when you turn round, you do not stop. You continue turning as you do left, right, left, right, left, right. You continue to do that for half an hour. That's to bring your emotions down, to bring your thoughts down. So you can do your sitting meditation. Right? So we have this rough mind. We do not want to go and sit and then fight with our mind, fighting against our thoughts, fighting against our emotions. So with this preliminary stage of walking meditation to calm our rough mind down. So when we do the sitting meditation, we can go deeply. So we can enjoy our sitting meditation. That's the main purpose, to enjoy our sitting meditation so we can carry on for as long as we want throughout the end of your life. That is purpose. So that's the first thing. So we do not want to make our sitting meditation a torture, right? Fighting with our vigorous mind, vigorous body. So we calm our mind down first. Okay. So walking meditation, I repeat it again, you just do left, right, left, right, left. The only time when you change the pace is when your pace becomes automatic. That is, you do left, right, and your mind somewhere else. Right. So like you're on autopilot, similar to when you're driving, you're on autopilot. You can drive as well as think something, plan something, but that's not the purpose. Purpose is to bring your mind down to one single object of meditation. That's left, right, and be paying attention to the body as well. That's the mindfulness bit. Okay, so any question about this before I go on next? Everybody is clear about walking meditation? You do it for half an hour before you do the sitting meditation. Okay? Okay, no question, then I'll move on. I'll move on to the sitting meditation. Or maybe I get away. I'll do the working meditation. The working meditation is similar to the walking meditation. Whatever you do that is repetitive, washing plates, right? Washing dishes, washing a cup. You just want to know that you are just washing the cup. And all you're concerned is whether it's clean. If it's clean, you pick up another dish to wash, another cup to wash. That's all you do. And when you're cleaning your windows or cleaning the table or wiping anything, sweeping the floor. So all your concern is it clean, this patch? It is, move on. When you're mowing the garden, it is the same thing as well, mowing the lawn. When you mow it, yes, this is nicely cut, you move on to the next bit, and so on. Anything that is repetitive, you can use it as a work meditation. Working meditation or work meditation is to develop your concentration and the mindfulness. Same thing as the walking meditation, developing concentration and mindfulness, and also build the stamina for it because you're doing it for half an hour. With the working meditation or work meditation, you can do it as long as the job you're doing needs. So when we are doing work meditation, we do not work and let our mind run away. We pay attention to what our body is doing. Pay attention to what we are doing. Okay? Any question about work meditation? Okay, no. Now I'm going to the sitting meditation. Now with the sitting meditation, you have to get your posture right. Best thing is to sit comfortably, on the floor, in any sitting posture you like, half lotus, full lotus, or if you're sitting on a chair, to sit upright. Do not lean. As soon as you lean, 50% of your mindfulness is gone, right? Because you have to be mindful of the posture of your sitting position. So the way we sit is we lean forward first when you're sitting, we pull the shoulders back, open the shoulders is the right way to do it. And make sure that there's a little hollow in our lower back, right? Keep the neck straight. Imagine somebody pulling you by the hair. So your neck is straight, upright, elongated. Look horizontally and then tilt the head about 15 degrees below the horizontal. And that's just about the right position. Close your eyes, and just let go of your arms. You do not have to hold your arms in any position at all, right? You just hold on. You just let go of your arm, right? And just let it rest on your lap in any position that you wish. You don't have to hold onto a specific mudra or with your fingers or anything. Some of us are born with short hands, we can't do that. Some of us are born with longer hands, so it's different. All we have to do is rest our arms on our lap. And then we start with what I call the longest, the longer, the longer, the longer following it is called. The longer following. What it means is as you close your eyes, everybody do this. As you close your eyes, imagine that there is a starting point of the breath as you breathe in. It's somewhere just under your nostril. So as you breathe in, you follow this breath right down to the midpoint between the sternum and the navel. So that's called the longer breath, right? So that's the length of the breath from the tip of the nostril right down to the middle point between the sternum and the navel, and then follow the breath out again. So as you follow the breath out to the end, you want to watch whether there is a pause between your in breath and the out breath, or whether there's a pause between the out breath and the in breath. You just want to know the nature or the way you breathe. That's all it is. Whether you pause or not, it doesn't really matter. But what matters is that you're able to follow your breath right down to the end or right up to the nostril, and then see whether there is a pause between the out breath and the in breath. So as you continue, this is just an imaginary breath. You really want to try to breathe naturally. If you can't get the length of the breath, try breathing it with your chest, right? You're slowly sucking in the air. You're breathing it slowly. So as you breathe out, just imagine like you are a balloon, slowly letting the air out. You do not breathe out. You slowly let the air out like a balloon. When did it? Okay. You follow the in breath and you follow your out breath. And this breath is called the longer breath. So what you're doing in this technique is called the longer of following, because you're following your in breath and out. It's as simple as that. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to get the feel of this. Anytime your posture is not right, correct it, because your posture is very important. As a beginner, it is about 60 to 70%. But to really get your posture right, you just have the intention of breathing in and the breath goes in. Intention of breathing out, and you let out the air. Okay, following the breath. Follow the breath as it goes in right to the midpoint between the sternum and the navel, and follow it out again in the longer. You learn to follow this imaginary breath as you breathe in to the midpoint between the sternum and the navel, and breathe out again. And just notice whether there's a pause or there's no pause at all. It doesn't really matter. But by learning to notice those two endpoints, we're trying to keep our mindfulness on the breath. Now, the meditation is mindfulness of the breath, not the breathing. We are not interested how you breathe. Yep. The breath is the object of meditation, not your breathing. If your mind runs away, bring it back to the object of meditation, that is following the breath. Let go of everything. Other things are not your concern. Your only concern is following the in-breath and following the out. Can drop everything else that comes to your mind, whether they are feelings in the body, thoughts. Let go of them and switch your attention back to the breath. Switch it back to following the breath. Okay, you can return to your normal breath now. So this is what you're going to do, First, you have to, the whole meditation session, it will probably take more than half an hour because you got to do the walking meditation. The walking meditation is important, right? Because it calms your mind down before you do the sitting meditation. Okay? So after walking for half an hour, left, right, left, right, left, right, you don't do anything else. You go straight down to do your sitting meditation. You don't have you don't go have a cup of coffee or have a shower or whatever. Because in between that time, your mind starts thinking about something or whatever it is. So after the walking meditation, you do the sitting meditation. So this walking and the sitting meditation is one meditation in itself. Okay? So that's the first thing. Now, it's simple, right? So you can sit as long as you wish to, right? You can sit. I would recommend you sit at least 20 minutes, right? That's recommending. So if you do 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you increase it every day. The most important thing is do your meditation every day. So you do, even though you do 5 or 10 minutes, you do it every day because that develop a habit of the mind. Right? Another thing which I would advise is choose a place, you know, in your house to do the sitting meditation. Right? And then that place, put a cushion and designate it as your meditation practice area. So every time you go to that area, you know what you're doing. You're doing sitting meditation and nothing else. Right? So, so in that place, I won't say that's a special place for you. It doesn't matter for other people, what they do in that place. For you, it is a special place where you do your meditation. We don't sit there and then eat or do anything else but meditation. Okay, so you want to kind of condition your mind. So every time you're there, you have a purpose, and that is to meditate. So it's just developing these good habits, right? So you can do twice a day, or once a day. You can do it in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. It's up to you whenever it is that you have the time to do it. For some people like me, I can't do it in the evening because I do it in the evening, I cannot sleep at night. My mind becomes too active, you know. So that's the only problem I have. Unless I don't want to sleep the whole night, then I do it in the evening. Okay. So you do this first, and then when you during your meditation, if you can keep your mind to the in and out breath, which is the longest of following, 70% of the time, then you can move on to the intermediate stage. It may take you 1 month to do it. It may take you 2 weeks to do it. I don't know, because some of you may have practiced other meditation techniques, so you're able to do it easily. Some of you may have a profession which involves a lot of concentration and mindfulness, and you've already developed that in your daily life or in your profession. So when you come to do the sitting meditation, it is easier for you. Okay, so once you do the longer of following, you are able to maintain it 70% of the time, then you can switch it on to another intermediate stage. I think tonight I'm going to teach you just the 2 stages, that's all. Unless there is somebody who have done meditation for about 5 or 10 years, then I will teach the third stage, okay, which is the advanced stage. So I'm going to stop with just the intermediate stage. Now, the intermediate stage, you only practice, I have to remind you, only practice it when you are able to do the beginner's stages or the introduction stages 70% of the time. You're able to stick with that. So when you have finished with the beginner state, you move on to the intermediate stage. Now, when you do the intermediate stage, you also start with the beginning stages, just about say a few minutes of it to get yourself into the intermediate stage of this practice. Now, the intermediate stage is called the longer of focusing, right? It is going to be different. I'm going to teach you this technique. What you're learning here is just technique and have a feel of the meditation technique. What you're supposed to do is take this technique and then practice it yourself. We have recorded it, so you can go through it again if you're not sure about the technique, right? So this longer of focusing is the same. You use the longer breath, which is the breath that comes in through the nose and travel down to the midpoint between the sternum and the navel. Okay, so it is still the longer breath. Now, what is different now is in this focus, you focus a small area underneath your nostril, wherever is comfortable. I'm going to turn my head side so you can see. Can be this far or this. It doesn't really matter, right? It could be 2 inches away, under your nostril, 3 inches, or whatever, whatever you feel it is comfortable. So you focus your mind on that, using your mind and your eye, if you like, focus on this small area. And then from that area, you breathe in. Imagine the breath. Now, in this case, you no longer follow the breath. You are just aware that you are breathing in the longer breath and breathing out the longer breath to that small area. Okay, so now we're going to do a sample practice. So sitting with the right posture, but get your posture right. And then as we are doing the intermediate stage, we still have to do the beginner stage. We always begin with the longer of following. So we go back to the longer following is. So Now we follow the breath in and out. Follow the breath in as you breathe in. Follow the breath out as you breathe out. Okay. Now we can change to the longer focusing. Now imagine that spot right underneath your nostril. Create that spot first. Focus on that spot and then be aware you're breathing in the longer breath and breathing out the longer breath to that spot. Okay. So from that spot, breathe in the longer breath and breathe out to it the longer breath. Okay. We will continue to do that for about 5 minutes. So now you focus on that spot and be aware that you're breathing in and breathing out to that spot. If your posture is not correct, correct your posture. Your mind runs away, bring it back to focusing on that point. It is called the longer of focusing. Stay focused on that spot. That's the most important thing. And then bring in the awareness of the length of your in breath and out breath. Out breath to that spot and in breath from that spot. To breathe in, the same thing, you slowly suck in the air. To breathe out, just like a balloon, letting go of the air. But your focus now is on that. Correct your posture if it's not. Always remember, make sure you have a good posture. Because that's about 70% of your meditation. Okay, now go back to the longer following. Now we change to following the breath out now, because we are going to finish our meditation. So we always come in with the longer following Then we move on to the longer focusing. And then when we're going to finish, we go back to the longer of following just for a minute or so and return to the normal breath. And then can open our eyes. Okay.
But I also have a question. When
Okay.
would you recommend, or how do I know when to move from the beginner to the intermediate stage?
Yeah. When you're doing the longer following at the start, spend every day doing the longer following the beginner stage, So you know for yourself, to your own mindfulness or awareness, how long you are doing the longer following. Now, if your mind is 70% of the time with the meditation, 30% of the time is running away, that's when you can move on to the intermediate stage, right? That means you have achieved about 70% or 75% of the time your mind is with the following. That means you can follow your breath. You have enough concentration and mindfulness to discipline your mind to follow the breath. Then you can move on to the intermediate stage, which is the focusing. Now, the focusing is a little bit more difficult because what we are doing now, concentrating at one point, putting our focus on one point, and also be aware of our in and out breath. Not only that, we are also aware of the length of our in and out breath. So, of course, it's much more complicated, much more difficult. But we are developing both concentration and mindfulness together. Okay? So, 70%,
Thank you.
Okay? Any more questions relating to this meditation or not related to this meditation? I'll answer it if I can, if I'm able to. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to leave you for about a month to practice. And then we had a report session in which everybody comes back and then report, to see whether you have any problems, whether any challenges or whatever, any comments, or any doubts. So Himanta is going to set up the next report meeting, which is sometime in July. I'll let him know when I'm available. Okay? Okay, good. Is everybody free? Then that's it.